Hi everyone, I'm Jessie, and behind the camera I have Justin.
Hello.
We're STEM educators at the Connecticut Science Center, and today we're going to do some science about preserving fall leaves. So, the first way we're going to preserve our fall leaves is by pressing them in some books. So the first thing you're going to need are the leaves that you collected outside. If you collected them on a rainy day like I did, just make sure you pat them dry with some paper towels first. You'll also need some paper towels or newspaper, and of course, the big heavy books. So first things first, I'm going to take a paper towel and pick out some leaves that I like. I like this giant red leaf, and maybe a few of these smaller yellow leaves. And you're going to sandwich them between two pieces of paper towel. So I'm going to cover that up with another piece of paper towel.
So Jessie, what does that do when you're covering the leaves?
So we want to cover the leaves in paper towel or in newspaper to help absorb some of that water that's inside those leaves. And by getting rid of the water and drying the leaves out, we're going to make it so that bacteria and fungi can't grow on our leaves and turn them into like rotten mush.
Yeah, I don't like when the leaves get all mushy like that.
Yeah, it looks pretty gross. So I'm going to take my book and I'm going to carefully place my leaves on top and add a couple more books on top of it. And the reason that we're actually using these books to squash the leaves is because you might notice outside when leaves dry up, they start to curl up and they don't look as nice and they get kind of crunchy. So we want to keep them nice and flat. Okay, I'll arrange a couple more and add a few more books. And you're going to want to leave these leaves squashed in the books for about 2 weeks. If your leaves are really thick or you've tried to squash any thick flowers, you're going to want to change the paper towels or newspaper out every few days just to get that water out of there. All right, I'm going to set these on aside so they can hang out for a couple weeks. Another way that we're going to preserve some leaves today is using glycerin. So I have my glycerin. You're also going to need warm water and some containers that are the same shape. I have 2 takeout containers. You can use plastic or styrofoam plates. And I'm also going to grab my spoon and my measuring cup. So what you're going to do is take 2 parts water. So I'm going to measure out 2 parts of water. Here's 1 and 2. And to those 2 parts of water, you're going to add 1 part glycerin. I'm just going to actually open this bottle all the way up because glycerin pours pretty slowly. It's very thick.
So Jessie, why might someone want to preserve leaves?
So someone might want to preserve leaves sometimes for arts and crafts. I have a really beautiful pressed leaf bookmark at home. Or scientists who study plants use preserved leaves that have been pressed either in books or in a plant press to study how the plants in an area change over time. So, maybe one year you might notice there's a new plant in your yard and you could go collect some leaves from it and press them and save them for later. You can also collect leaves from different seasons, which can be really interesting because sometimes they have flowers or sometimes they have fruit. And this is all information that scientists can use if you label it with what type of plant it was and where and when you collected it. All right, so my glycerin is all dissolved into the water. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to just put this in my pitcher, is take my container and I'm going to put some leaves in it. So this red one I really like, a couple of the yellow ones, maybe a little red one. Perfect. And I'm going to pour the glycerin on top of the leaves. And then I'm going to put this other same shaped container right on top. And what that's going to do is it's just going to make sure that the leaves stay in the glycerin solution for now. And so what's happening with this solution that we have right here is that it's going to the glycerin will slowly replace the water that's inside our leaves, and it's going to preserve those leaves the same way we were talking about before. Without water, that bacteria and the fungi can't grow. But it's also, since glycerin is a liquid, it's going to actually keep our leaves pretty flexible. And I have some that I set up 6 days ago to show you. You're going to want to leave the leaves in this glycerin solution for 3 to 6 days. And when they're done, they come out looking like this. So they feel kind of like a fake fabric leaf that you might buy at a craft store. You can see that they're still bendy even 6 days later, unlike those leaves you might find outside that kind of dry and curl up on themselves and get crunchy. So I'm going to actually clean all of this up, and we're going to come back with Justin with another way to preserve leaves.
So another cool way that you can preserve leaves at home is by using an iron. So make sure that you have an adult for this, some wax paper, a sheet of paper towel or newspaper, and those pretty leaves that you've collected from outside. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our wax paper, we're going to lay it down flat. You're going to take those leaves. I like this one. I like this one too. And then we're going to sandwich it between our other sheet of wax paper. And then we're going to take our paper towel and we're going to lay it on top. And then we're going to take our iron, and it's very important to have it between low to medium heat. And you're going to iron each side for about 3 to 5 minutes.
So Justin, what's happening while you're ironing those leaves?
So what's happening is that while we're ironing, we're actually removing the moisture from the leaves, and that's what causes the bacteria and the fungi to grow. And then also we're creating a seal between the wax paper that will also stop any other moisture from getting in. So rather than having you sit here and watch me iron this side and then the other, I have a sheet for you done. I lost it. It got away from me. But that's okay. So here's what your finished product will look like. So you see, it's all sealed in, and then you can save it and look at it whenever you want. If you want to show us any of the leaves that you've collected and preserved and how you've used them, please show us by using the hashtag ScienceAtPlay. And if you want to check out any more cool science, check us out at ctsciencecenter.org.
If you are enjoying this activity, please support the Connecticut Science Center by making a donation.